Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
If they're not promoting the right thing to do, as far as like the senators that's running, and you look at MSNBC is not talking the right stuff. I listen to Rachel and I listen to Lawrence and I listen to the late guy that come on at 11 o'clock. They're not really pushing the right things, man.
You're talking about Williams.
Yeah, Williams. Yeah, they're not pushing the right things, man. Because, everybody, when you listen to these, and I listen to a lot of radio, and when you listen to these so-called conservatives and liberals, they don't like neither one of them. They don't like MSNBC. They don't like CNN. Now, there are people that watch Fox and they try to talk about what they're talking about. But the bottom line is that most liberals, so-called liberals, because they call themselves, really what they are is neoliberals. They're not really for what we call as social or, social culture things, like the things that are important for people to survive because of all the discrimination that's putting on really black people mostly, and now you got these Latinos coming in, which really, personally, I don't think they should be included because we are the ones that came up from slavery. We the ones that came up from Jim Crow. We are the ones that have been discriminated against. So I just think that they're not really pushing it. They don't really care about what's going on in the black community or what's going on. You look at all these people that's getting all this money, Manafort, Jared, they're getting millions and millions of dollars going to banks and all that. And black people can't get those type of loans. So what I'm saying is that basically what we're battling is, as far as the black community, is really representation, no representation, but we're getting all the kinds of fees and taxes and all that. So the Democrats ain't worth a shit neither. They're really not. They're not worth a shit. And I'm just telling you, I heard Corey today talking about why is, it's not fair. It's not fair that President Obama didn't get a chance to nominate his Supreme Court justice because of the election. And here we got an election coming up. Where's the outrage for the Democrats? They should be climbing, they should be standing in front of these TV stations right now trying to get on the air. But they're not. And telling the American people this is unfair. They don't care, man. I mean, and they don't care about what's going on in the black community. Now, you could say it's our fault. You could say that we make mistakes, but the white folks make the same mistakes. They don't get severely punished like we do. So you got these black militants that I don't really appreciate the way they come off, as far as segregation and all that. Claude Anderson think that we should be segregated. This other guy, Johnson, I can't think of his first name. he think we should be like Marcus Garvey and all that shit. I believe in integration. I believe in that people should be getting along with each other, and you should work to that end, because a lot of pretty much a lot of white Americans want to be integrated and they want to be inclusive. But it takes leadership, because they're not going to stand out there by themselves. It's just like a black person. You got one or two black persons that's in the group, and this one black person get beat, get whatever the case may be. That one black person, what are you going to do? You got two black people in the whole whatever the situation. What are you going to do? It's only just them two. So I'm just saying, these Democrats ain't worth a shit neither. That you can talk politics all you want, and I go along with that and all of that, but they don't give a shit about black people, man. I'm telling you, they don't give a shit. Because if they did, they would be out there beating the streets. And they're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're not doing it, Ed.
Ted, I guess I have a sort of a different viewpoint on what's going on and stuff for us. And my viewpoint and stuff is that a lot of times we have to, well, most of the time, we're not, those people that you're talking about, they're on a national level. And even
you got national and local.
Yeah, and we have to first of all deal with our local stuff that's going on. If we can deal with our local stuff, then the national stuff going to take care of themselves.
And where we make our mistake is we don't get involved in the local shit.
Absolutely, that's the point that I'm trying to make to you. We have to get involved with the local stuff. And we have to be able to give to people and stuff on them local levels the information that they need to be able to take care of themselves, be able to do the things that they need to do. If you don't take care of your house, then it's going to fall apart because you're looking at what's going on outside your house. You have to look at what's going on in your house first and stuff, and then the other stuff is probably going to take care of itself, because the national people and stuff is letting us know what nationally is going on and stuff in this country, what, the big picture of what's going on. But we have to deal with those little small things that deal with our community.
Well, think about this, Ed. Let me just say this. Think about this. The federal government gives each state a certain amount of funds, right?
Right.
Then you have a certain amount of funds that come in from the local, like each county, like fees, taxes, state taxes, all that. So all of this money comes in. And so, a lot of that pays the salary of these workers that are working for these state municipalities, right?
Right.
So now you got these commissioners, you got these state representatives. They're all on the government payroll, so to speak. So, and then you got this top dollar, because the reason why we get, certain states get money is because we pay federal taxes. And we get a certain percentage of that because we pay a certain amount of taxes. That money is funneled into the state, right, which goes out, supposed to be, into each county.
Absolutely.
And so what's happening is that just like Chicago, if you look at the Chicago map, one day, go into Chicago and look at the Chicago map. Look at the different communities and the neighborhoods. You know the top 10 worst neighborhoods are?
Right. In our community.
That's right. But if you look at the Chicago neighborhoods, all the different other neighborhoods They got signs talk about the Italian community, the Polish community, the German community,
Absolutely.
the Asian community,
Absolutely.
China
Absolutely.
community, whatever.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
so how many dollars? Now, those people in those neighborhoods are paying taxes.
Absolutely.
They paying property taxes,
Absolutely.
federal taxes, everything.
Absolutely.
And those funds are not going in there. And that's what what I think, what we need to really emphasize. These people need to get engaged. They need to get groups of people to go out there, and every time they have a board meeting, get some kind of representative to get in there and talk. When they have a board meeting, get up there and talk your 3 minutes or whatever minutes you got
Absolutely.
to say, where's our damn money
Absolutely.
to support our community?
Absolutely.
And they should demand to have what police officers are in charge of our community.
Absolutely.
And that's the problem. And on and on. You can go on and on. School situation,
But it all
roads.
starts, Ted, with local activism.
Yes. And that's the problem. We have sold into this American dream. And this is just my own whatever. We have sold into the American dream, and even in the black community, if you got your little house, you got your car, you got your job, everything is wonderful. And it don't have to be no big house. It can be a little $50,000, $40,000, $100,000 house, and you happy, you content. But while you content, they're scheming against you. They're taking your money, bro. You sit up and thinking that everything is wonderful. But when you turn around, next thing you know, your property value, you paid $100,000 for a house, your property value now is $75,000.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you were saying, Mr. Harvey. But I also understand that if you don't become active in your community, what is going to happen is that you will not receive your share of the pie.
And that's the question. And that's the whole thing. What I think that when you're talking about following the money, we have to follow that money. When that money comes in to the state, to their capital, how much money is coming in and where's it being doled out to? And they need to keep these people accountable for, and they need to bust down them damn doors about what's going on.
It's being doled out to Ted, to the people who got the biggest voice and who got the biggest acts or the biggest club. You got whoever got the biggest club gets the most money. Whoever fights the hardest gets the most money.
That's right.
Whatever community fights the hardest, they're going to get the most money.
That's
Whatever
right.
county fights the hardest, they're going to get the most money.
That's
Whatever
right. Well, we
village
know that.
or city fight hardest, going to get the most money.
That's what they did to Pembroke for years. We know that, and they slacked us up, messed us up with our community because they didn't put enough funds or the proper funds that's supposed to be going out to the Hopkins Park community, Pembroke community, Pembroke Township community, and it's all over the country. All over the country. Everywhere you go, in LA, same thing. What's the worst communities? I bet you can name them right now. Give me 3 of them right now. What's the worst communities in LA? Give me 3.
Watts. The only thing I know about is Watts.
What else?
I don't know the other. Compton. Okay, I know about Compton. Go ahead.
And Inglewood.
Inglewood, yeah, okay. All of them are a 80 or 90% people of color.
Right. So what I'm saying is they're not getting their share of the community, of the funds to upgrade their community.
And when you look into those communities, what's going on?
And you can do that all across the country.
if you look into those communities,
They're
what's
not
going
engaged.
on
They're not engaged because
and
you
what
know what
else is
they're
going
doing.
on
You know what they're doing.
and
They
what
got,
else is going on.
yeah, they got people, they got gangs, they got all kind of stuff because they don't
And
have the correct policing, they don't have the
killing
correct education,
and
they
they
don't
are
have
killing
all the
each
things.
other.
Yeah,
They are killing each other.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they and
When you say killing, why?
you have policemen who live outside that area who come there to work who are policing them.
Yes,
And every day they see them out there doing the same exact thing every day.
that's right.
Every day. And most of them go back to their communities and stuff, and they are saying to their wives and their children and their friends and stuff, man, those people over there are animals.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right.
And they're looking down on them. So, like you said, we have to take in those communities, you have to take control of your community. And not the gangs take control. The people have to take control of their community. They have to take
And the
control
only
to the
reason
point.
why that you have gangs is because you, as an adult or young adult or older adult, are not going block to block to get these kids involved. Number one, it should be always after school care because we know that our community, most of them work 3 to 11, 12 to 9, or whatever shit, and their kids come home and ain't nobody home, latchkey kids, all that kind of shit. Because that's the way the corporate world treats your kids. They don't look
Mhm.
at, they don't look, say, hey, I got kids, or whatever. Mama got to work.
Well, she does, Ted. She really does have to work
Yeah,
because
mama got to work.
if she doesn't work, there is no money coming into the
What I'm
household. The
talking
kids
about.
can't
And if
eat.
she
They
got,
can't have a
right,
roof over their head. They
right.
can't have clothes to wear because mama has to work.
Yeah.
So, like you were saying, there has to be a solution. There has to be some way and stuff where you can figure out
We have to
how
figure out
to
how in
get
the world that
this
we can
thing
stop
and stuff.
this shit. We got to stop this.
Absolutely. And you have to have activists, active people and stuff within the neighborhood to
They can
say,
complain about
okay,
the corporate world all they wanna.
absolutely.
They can talk about, because these people are saying this BS and all that kind of crap. They can say all that crap all they want. It ain't gonna do no good. Because number one, you gotta stop all of this stupid stuff.
Well, my philosophy and stuff, Ted, is just like some of the other activists are supposed to be activists and stuff out there. And you hear people asking, well, how do we do this? How do we do this? You said what's doing, how to do it. My solution and stuff is you got to start real small and then you expand yourself. Once you get the thing going, you expand it, You got to start in one little area and say, okay, this area is the safe zone and we're going to clean this up. We're going to make sure that there's no paper on the street, that our garbage gets picked up, and that the police know that this is a safe area. And we don't want nobody in there bothering what's going on. Once you find that area and you get it safe and you make sure that everything in there, you
It takes
clean
work,
that
man. It takes work.
place up. It
You have
does.
to,
It
you
takes
have to
work.
have you have to have community leaders walking in each one of those different communities after work and deal with all these different problems that's going on. And you have to go door to door. I mean, that's just the bottom line. I mean, that's
But
just
you
it.
have to
Because
start, small, Ted. You're not gonna get because if you can't only you can only eat so much and put in your mouth. You can't take a big cake and eat the cake all at once. You have to take a slice of the cake. And then you get a slice of the cake, you lay it down, and you're going to eat it just a little bit. You can only eat just a little bit. You can't take care of the whole community all at once. It's not going to happen.
yeah, what you got to do is block
If you
by
try that, if you try that, you are going to fail because you cannot eat it.
Well, I lived in Chicago with my parents for 14 years. Then we moved out to the country. And we probably moved about 6 times the 14 years that I can remember, maybe even more than that. And I can remember the last community that I lived in, which was on the west side of Chicago.
Where on the west side?
It was off of Roosevelt and Coleman.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
And we had a block that was, when I first moved there, I was probably about 12 years old. And we moved at 14. Those 2 years, that community changed drastically.
Mm-hmm.
The first year I was there, we had a block club. We had a block party.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, people was involved. We had Asian people there living on the block. We had white people living on the block. Everything was cool. We didn't even have to go out that block. I mean, we did go out the block, and we went to swimming and all that, called Fillmore Swimming Pool. And what I'm saying is that the community was involved. And all of a sudden it just changed. Just in 1 year, when I turned 13, all of a sudden somebody moved in that was involved in the Vice Lords.
Mm-hmm.
Over on across Roosevelt Road, Coleman Street, it was I forget the name of the group, some kind of group that was over there, some gang group. But what I'm saying is that there were people involved in that, and people just started just leaving. You can tell that the whole thing, I don't know what happened, and this was in 62, 63, and we moved out to Hopkins in 64, the summer of 64. So all of a sudden things just started changing, man. And maybe a crop of people moved from somewhere, from some other, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But that community, man, I used to love that community. I mean, we had dance parties, people got along, and all of a sudden.
When you have a sore and you don't patch the sore up, it's going to get bigger and bigger, and it's going to infect your entire body.
Yeah. And that's what happened.
Your sore came with that member from the Vice Lords.
Yep.
The community, once they saw what was going on, they let that sore stay there.
There you go.
When you let that sore stay there, it is going to infect the whole body. And that's why you saw your community go down so fast, because they let that Vice Lord member come into their community. If they had eradicated that Vice Lord member as soon as they came in the community, their community probably would have been still the same.
I agree.
So those are things and stuff that your neighborhood watch and all the other folks and stuff are going to have to do.
But at the same time, let me tell you, at the same time, I mean to cut you off, but at the same time, there was a black alderman. I'll never forget this. There was a black alderman that lived just about maybe 6 or 7 houses away from us. These white guys came in and killed him. Politically. They went in there and they killed this guy, a black alderman, because he was running for alderman. And he would have won. I remember that, because I remember my old man saying, yeah, they killed so-and-so, so-and-so, he was running for alderman. And they went in his house and they killed him. And nobody solved the murder. So politically, they was destroying us. And socially, they was destroying us. So what I'm saying is that I don't know what you're going to do about that, because
you have in any battle and stuff, Ted, you're going to have fatalities.
And that was a big fatality because, man, that shook
It
that whole
doesn't matter how big it is. You
that
can't
shook
let
that
up.
no
You can't allow that fatality to stop you from doing what is right to win that war.
Yeah, I agree.
And
And that's what
any general or commissioned officer, anybody who's out there fighting a battle, knows that they have an objective. And if someone gets killed in the battle, somebody else has to come in and take over that position and keep on fighting the battle, because one person gets killed, you just gonna run away and let your enemy and stuff in the war. Can't do that. And it's hard, and it's hard for our community and hard for a young person like you were, back then. You were 13 years old. It's hard for you to understand that you still have to continue to fight. Yes, you can lick your wounds for a little bit, but you got to still get back out there on that battlefield. You just can't stop. You have to find another way to deal with that. Now, something else could have been the reason and stuff why this man got killed. He could have been involved with.
We don't know. I don't know. I don't even know. He could have been. He could have been involved with the mob.
Right.
He didn't obligate himself or whatever.
Absolutely. They wanted to control him, and they couldn't control him, so they killed him.
Oh, we don't know.
Those things and stuff happen, but those things happen in war. And
so the thing is that there is no real strategy. There's no real strategy for Black people.
Yes, there is. You have to follow a strategy. I remember.
Don't turn it on.
I remember in when Dr. King was out there fighting and stuff back in the 60s, the early 60s or whatever, he was out there fighting. And when you looked at him, this man was in fear of his life every day, that somebody was going to kill him. He was harassed. He had the FBI out there trying to do something to him. He had a lot of things going on. But one thing he didn't do, he didn't give up.
Yeah, he had Black people after him too.
Yeah, he kept it. Absolutely. They were all after him. But he kept going. And it created problems and stuff with him, his family, because I remember people talking about how he's got a girlfriend somewhere. He got him a woman somewhere.
Yeah.
He ain't no good and all that. But it didn't stop him. It didn't stop his wife.
He probably had some affairs. Who knows?
Well, but those were the tactics and stuff, Ted, to stop him from doing what he did.
And that was the FBI.
And eventually he lost his life and stuff out there on the battlefield, fighting for the rights and stuff, the folks who did it. But even after he had lost his life, the SCLC, who were behind him and whatever, and all the other churches stuff in the South were behind him, they licked their wounds and everything, and then they brought more leaders and stuff back there. You saw Reverend Jesse Jackson rise out of the dust and everything and come up there and start going out and creating Operation Breadbasket. They never stopped and everything. There were a lot of things and stuff going on. There were a lot of leaders and stuff happening out there, and constantly coming out of those ashes and doing what needed to be done and stuff to bring some progress. And there have been progress and stuff, Ted, in our community, a lot of progress. And we have to look at the progress and say, hey, there are some, but you also have to look back at your progress that you have made from where you came, from where you're at now. Because if you can't see progress, if you can't see it, then you become disillusioned. Your people behind you become disillusioned. When you saw Dr. King and stuff, when he came and stuff to these communities and stuff, man, these people were beat down, beat to death, and he brought hope and everything inside of them. When Obama went out and did his thing and became the president of the United States, what was his major speech and stuff in 2007 and 2008 to get him? He said, we have to have hope And if you don't have that, you're going to die. You're not going to make it. You're going to have people who are disillusioned. And he had hope. He gave people hope. And one of those things and stuff in his battle plan was you had to win some wars so you can be able to go out and win some more wars. If you lost that war, then your folks were going to become disillusioned. And he studied the democratic process. He knew that whoever came out of the Iowa caucuses usually had the first step and came the Democratic nominee. That was that. Now the Republicans had a different road, but he knew that if you had to come out of Iowa and win. If you didn't come out of Iowa and get that first thing going on, to get that first blow, you were going to make it. And he concentrated a lot of time and a lot of effort into winning Iowa. He did. Now he did lose New Hampshire and stuff and everything in that second battlefield, but he also went over there at the same time because of how the primary process was set up and everything. You had Nevada and stuff who were voting just about the same time as Vermont was. Well, I'm sorry, New Hampshire. And those things kind of offset themselves. But when he came into South Carolina for that primary and stuff, he had 2 wins under his belt, and he had that loss in New Hampshire. But he didn't let this stop him, because as he rolled on, man, his people behind him got stronger. They kept getting stronger. He had more and more people. I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I'm sitting there in South Carolina watching what was going on there a week or so before that primary and stuff happened. Man, there were so many people coming into the state of South Carolina fighting for this man. It was unbelievable. But if he had not have won Iowa, and if he had not have went ahead and backed it up with Nevada's win in that primary, he couldn't have made it.
You know, politics is wonderful. And, you know, President Obama made me feel very proud, very dignified man and wife, family. However, when I look at what's going on today, you have, and this is not, I'm just quoting facts. When you have, out of the homeless people, we're only 13% of the population. 40% of homeless people are Black people. Almost 10 million Black people are under the prison system, under the prison system. You have over almost 500,000 people that is in foster care. Half of them are Black. We can look at the bright side and say, yes, a lot of us doing well. A lot of us are doing very well. A lot of us are doing okay. But the bottom line is, man, you know, when you look at how they are destroying or have destroyed, and, you know, a few of us get out of there and get out of what they call the ghettos, and I don't like that term, the ghettos, because that's a term that was back in the 20s and 30s. We don't live in the ghettos. We live in cities. We live in urban areas. And there are certain urban areas that they have targeted. And enough is enough, man.
Ted, I'm not saying that there's not a problem. I'm not saying that we have to, that those things and stuff don't exist. I'm saying that you can't keep harping up on the bad stuff without bringing some good things and stuff about too. So, okay, we did this. You have to give people hope. If you don't have hope, then you are not going to be going out there and fighting on that battlefield. You're going to give up, especially us. We have been known to give up if we don't win some battles.
Okay, we're
going to give up.
Let's look at NAACP.
Right, go ahead.
Let's look at the Urban League.
Now let's talk about the NAACP first, because there's two different entities there. Go ahead.
Well,
NAACP.
NAACP basically is a legal entity. They don't really deal with people problems. They deal with the legal thing, like if you've been discriminated against or someone has been wrong and they get involved. And, there are certain places in the NAACP are very strong. I mean, they really are strong. But there are certain cities that they're weak. They have no power. They have no say so. They're not at the table. Just like the Urban League. Just like all the other, a lot of organizations. Because we constantly have to fight the system.
Yep.
And to me, these organizations are well intended. They are very good organizations, but they have to let the people know that, hey, we need you. We need you to get involved. We need you to get engaged. Forget your $15 membership. Get out there and knock on some doors. Get out there and publicize some kind of way. Get some funding. You got funding, you get advertising, nationally wise. You got a $30 million plus budget, both of them, which is not a lot of money. But the point is that you got these people working and making salaries, and they're just making a salary, and that's all they're doing. And some of them are doing good work, and they have their victories here and there. But the bottom line is, man, they're not galvanizing the Black community. Just that's the reason why Black Lives Matter jumped up. And now they're silent because somebody then gave them a bunch of money.
Oh, Ted.
I'm serious, man. I mean, you get out there and block the streets and all that kind of stuff. But what we need today is we need people to be educated. And I think they're doing this. A lot of people are doing this. Don't get me wrong. People need to get in there and get engaged. These younger people, 20s and their 30s and even 40s, to get in there and get engaged and get a group of people and get in there and start running for office and getting those commissioner jobs, getting on the school board, finding out how much money that these budgets are, and then start having these people be accountable for.
And that's going on, Ted.
I hope so.
It's going on. It's going on right now. It is going on all over. There are successes going on. You look here in Georgia, this is the first time in the history of the state, a history of the nation, that you got a Black woman who was nominated to be the governor of this state. Now, she may or may not win. She got a good chance of doing it, but there's some things got to fall right for her and everything, because she's a very, very powerful person. She understands a lot of things that's going on out there. She came from poverty, but her parents and stuff worked very hard to make sure that her and all of her siblings were educated and stuff. She came from good roots. You have the city of Atlanta. I'm just speaking of these things around here. I'm speaking of, there are bad things and stuff here, Ted, but there are some positive things and stuff going on. So you have to look at positive. You have to look at good. When you have positive things going on, you have to bring those positives in. It's almost like a child and stuff in school. If he gets a F and you just beat him over the head, and then if he gets an A or a B, you don't say anything at all to him, he's gonna feel disillusioned. So the population is the same way. We have to look at those positive things. The positive thing going on now is that this woman and stuff is running for the governor, something unheard of and stuff around here. You've got a Black man who may or may not win a nomination for governor and stuff, in the state of Florida. You know, the mayor of Tallahassee. Those are some positive things going on. Now, he may not make it, but there's some positive things going on. He is out there striving, trying to do it. And so people need to stand up and get behind those folks. You have a young lady and stuff who was the mayor of the city of Atlanta. Now, I thought, man, after Cassine Reed and stuff left, man, we done lost this city, man. Black people can't get it, but this girl come out of nowhere and took over and won that nomination and stuff and everything for the city of Atlanta, one of the most progressive cities and stuff in this country, who made a lot of, they are pretty rich and stuff in what they're doing. So, but she's got some problems and stuff going on. There are people, you know, just some of her folks and stuff behind her and her administration and everything who've been there for a while, been arrested. They're getting ready, they already pleaded guilty and stuff for a crime of accepting money and all that. But those are bad things and stuff, but they are good things and stuff going on at the same time. We have to expound upon those good things also. You look at the NAACP, and you're right. You're absolutely right, man. There are some places where the NAACP, man, is a non-entity. But you have some things and stuff going on, some structural things going on there, the NAACP, that is creating a vacuum there, and it has gotten worse and worse and worse. But then you look at the head, used to be head, Ben Jealous, he used to be the CEO of NAACP. He's gone on now to become what? He's a governor or a mayor and stuff there. I think he's running for governor there in New Jersey or somewhere now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there are positive things going on, but you're right, there are structural things going on wrong in NAACP. There are structural things going wrong in the National Urban League and everything. We still know that their leader and stuff and everything, he used to be the mayor of New Orleans and everything up there now. I can't think of his name now off the top of my head.
Morale or something like that.
Yeah, Morale and stuff. You know, he's sitting around there trying to keep his thing going. But like you said, you have to bring in some new blood, man. If you don't bring in some new blood to come in there and give them the things that they need and stuff to make their organization strong, and say, hey, if you got someone he should be grooming somebody to take over the National Urban League. But you got these folks who hanging on, man. They're hanging on. They're in their 70s and 80 years old, and they still hanging on to these leadership positions. They're going to give it up. You know, it's time to give it up and let somebody else do something and sit back and help.
That's absolutely right. You absolutely
right. And then you're looking at it, but it's not only happening to us,
bro.
It's not only happening to us. It's happening in the Democratic Party. You look at Nancy Pelosi. Nancy, 80-some years old, man. She needs to get that speaker position up.
Torch, bro. Pass the torch.
Hey, pass it. You know, give it up. Let somebody else, young person, come in there, and you sit down there and you mentor that person and stuff about to come in there. You look at President. Look at President Obama. Right now, he is starting up a organization and stuff and everything that are he's grassroots groups that are building up, bringing in young folks and everything, and he's grooming them to become the next leaders and stuff in this country. He's sitting back at the sideline. Nobody's watching it, but he's sitting back there, and his group is getting bigger and bigger and bigger because he's quietly and stuff building them up, letting these kids come out there and get strong out there and understand that system and stay in that system and deal with what is going on and train them up to do what's got to be done. There's going to be some losses now. They ain't going to win all those battles, but you still keep going on out there. I'm hoping that girlfriend here in Georgia wins that governorship, man. If she wins that governorship, oh man, that's going to be a huge win and stuff for us here in Georgia, for Atlanta, for everybody all around the country. Girlfriend's going to be a very powerful entity and stuff around here if she wins that job. Almost like Brotman did back in the 70s and stuff, and he became the governor of Virginia and stuff there. Yeah, you remember him? Man, that was a big deal when Brother Man got to be a black man become a governor and stuff of a state here. But now you got a chance of seeing a woman and stuff here in the South, the deep South, to be able to win. And like I said, girlfriend got a good chance, but she could lose. I'm not going to put all my hopes and everything and stuff on her, but it's a good thing that she was nominated, and we have to be proud about that and proud for her. and tell her, don't stop, girlfriend. You still got to get out there and keep on working and everything, and don't let a defeat stop you from doing what you need to be doing. And we can't let our folks and stuff stop that. We have to look at the good stuff and deal with those bad things that's going on. Yes, you're right, Ted. All these black folks locked up in jail, we know that stuff was wrong. But they are doing some things and stuff. People are rising up. You got folks and stuff now. You got Oprah and everything dealing with the women who are being incarcerated and stuff and everything. They're sitting out there doing some things. There's a whole big entertainment media women out there and stuff who are working and stuff with women who are being locked up in jail. So there are positive things, even though they're being locked up and their lives and stuff are ruined. Their children are sitting out there being taken away from them, thrown into foster care or whatever, because these grandparents and stuff can't take care of their children. Hey.
Well, what you're saying is absolutely right. There are small pockets of people that are doing good. And I'm not knocking that. But what I'm saying is that it's almost like I said, we are 13% of the population, meaning that we're all over the country. And we got small pockets of a number of people in certain states. We might have 3 million in Florida, and we might have maybe a little more than 2 million in Illinois. And I'm talking about, large populations, in California, we might have a couple of million. But the bottom line is that we don't have, and I talked about this last time. Where is our Black community that we can be proud of? Do we have a Black community?
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of them out there.
I'm talking about actual Black community.
Yes, there's a lot of them out there. There are a lot of them out there, Ted. You need to do your research.
I'm talking about. Do you know about Chinatown?
Yeah, I know about Chinatown. They got a bunch of towns. Let me ask you a question. In Chicago, they got a Chinatown in Los Angeles. They got a Chinatown in New York.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know about Germantown?
Yes, they got one in Chicago. They got one in Atlanta. They got one in New York. They got one. Yeah.
So now you get my drift. Italian, same thing.
They got one in Chicago. They got one in Los Angeles. They got one in New York. They got them in Texas. They got them in Houston and Dallas.
This is what I'm talking about. And each one of those communities, they are plush.
Right.
Most of them are plushed.
Right.
And so what I'm saying is,
and they control what goes on, Ted, in their community, just like you and I have just finished talking about. You have to take control of your community, and that's it. We on the same wavelength, Ted. We on the same wavelength. And all I'm saying to you is that even though you got Chinatown, Germantown, and Italian town, they got bad stuff going on there outside of there. They got Italians and stuff who ain't doing good. They got Chinese folks who ain't doing very good and stuff and everything. But they ain't not giving up on their little enclave of what they got. They're sitting there. And we have an enclave of things of Black folks and stuff who have some things going on and stuff there. And we keep on. I understand that. But it's going to come and stuff in little bits and pieces to build up, because it takes a whole lot to make a whole cake or a whole pie. You're going to take all the little pieces and put them all together to make a whole pie. So we know we got a whole bunch of folks out there, empty spaces out there, where these communities and stuff is screwed up.
And the sad part about it,
that we need to do, get a hold of Black Lives Matter and say, hey, man, what the hell are you all doing and stuff? Don't lives in our community and stuff matter? Yes, I know the police is killing our folks and stuff. I know they're doing it. They've been doing it ever since I was a little boy. They've been killing us. They've been beating us up, all that stuff and everything. So we're going to continue to stay on the battlefield and everything. So you guys got the batter and stuff now and everything. So not only deal with these folks out there who are killing each other and stuff, and they're not being prosecuted. Look at Ferguson. Man, you haven't saw that one of the kids, man, one of the guys and stuff was on that front line marching when Brown got killed. That man took on what he had to take care of. Guess where he's at now? in that position of the state's attorney there, who, if he was in that job, would have convicted that daggone officer and stuff who shot Brown. But he stayed on that battlefield, and now he is the person and stuff now who tells them who they are going to convict and everything and stuff. He's an attorney, and he's out there now. He won that daggone election. He won that seat that from that district attorney or wherever he was and stuff and everything, to let Brown's killer go.
Yeah.
So that's a victory and stuff out there, you know. Out of the ashes of that man's death and everything, you find that you got a state's attorney and stuff now who's going to do that stuff. You got more black people on Ferguson's council and stuff now. These people out there running for these council seats and everything, doing stuff like we talked about.
And that's why
locally,
Keith Ellison is running for
he's running for the Secretary of State there in Minnesota.
I thought it was state's attorney.
Attorney General, I'm sorry.
Attorney General, yeah.
Attorney General, you're right.
So,
Attorney General.
So the point is that
there are successes going on.
People are woke, and things are slowly moving, to a progressive way of thinking.
We still got a long way to go, Ted.
Yeah, I know.
We got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. But we do have some things that we can look at that are positive and everything, so we can energize. And I talk about this to all these folks and stuff out there. If you wanted to start something and everything, get you a block club going on in your community. Get that block club started up. You got a black community, get a block club going on and pull these people together. Have a block party. Block them streets off and everything. Tell the police I'm blocking these streets off. We're going to have a block party out here because this ours. We pay the taxes here. And they're not going to bother you if you're doing that. Get out in that block club. You can play music, do everything you want, and get your folks energized and stuff and everything. And out of that energy and everything, you're going to bring forth an organization and stuff in your block who's going to get strong and stuff. And hey, man, we got to get the street cleaned up. Next Saturday, we're going to have a party and stuff here, and we're going to go out with our rakes and our hoes and wheelbarrows and everything we can get, and we're going to clean this place up.
Yeah, and you got all kind of people in the community. You have elderly people. You have
absolutely. We can go mow their grass. Call them up.
Right.
Call these elderly folks up and say, "Hey, how you doing?" If they got a problem, keep them on your phone list and everything, and talk to them and everything, and let them know that somebody's out there looking for them. If you need some help, here's the number to call. We're going to be right there and stuff to help you. Yeah. Somebody breaking in your house, or if something happened to your inside your home and stuff, we're gonna have somebody come in there and help you to get it fixed or whatever. Or if you got problem with your Social Security, you got problem with all your other stuff or your health care or whatever, we're gonna have people there to help you. So you got once you start doing those little things for those people.
Here's the thing, Ed, it's not like the government don't have all of that information, because you can look on your directory and all that information is right there where people can assist you. If you don't, even in the neighborhood, if you're a leader of their neighborhood, you can call those people to get information.
Absolutely. And that's how you, because Ted, after you get older and stuff, you know what happened to older people and stuff. They start forgetting stuff. They can't take care of themselves. They can't call these people up, or they being harassed and stuff by these fishers, fishing people. When I mean fishing, I mean PHIS. When they call them up and they steal their money and everything and stuff for them and everything, they need to have somebody who's looking at the interest, because most of the time, Ted, you look in those homes and stuff with those people they're in there by themselves, man. They don't have nobody.
Yeah,
the kids don't come out to help them. They whatever. The grandkids don't come to help them. Nobody come to see them.
Or a retirement check or whatever they get.
Absolutely, and people are praying, and they're praying on them, and they're scared to go out and go shopping and get their food and everything. Somebody needs to take their banner up, man, and go out there to take care of the old people and the young folks and stuff and everything. Just like you said, have a place for the kids and stuff to play at. You can use that block club to talk about where you're gonna go clean up. We got a park down the street down there. We got 3 or 4 more other parks and stuff, but we're gonna go clean this park up.
And
we got one park.
And it can't just be one leader, because usually what happens is that once they find they got one leader, then what happens? They try to bump him off or run him out or run her out of town,
or something happens to them, or they family decide to leave, or their job decide to go away. Yeah. And you're right. They get called away. Hey man, my job said I got to go, so ain't nobody else taking over. Well, like you said, everybody takes up. They all got an equal share of the leadership, whatever the leadership has to do. But those are good things and stuff, Ted, that that's going on. Well, now I want to be able to
go ahead. I know you're going to tell
our audience that this broadcast has been started for a long time. We've been talking now for over an hour here. I don't know if Mr. Harvey realized it, but I pushed that button and everything because I wanted the audience and stuff to listen to our preparations for getting on the air. And and so I want to welcome all you all to our telecast here. This is a Wednesday. It was meant to be a big telecast to talk about Trump and what's going on and stuff out there on the national scene, but we got to talking about a lot of local issues and stuff there. That's important to our community and stuff also. So we just want to welcome you guys and stuff here. You guys have been listening to a impromptu session and stuff and everything and stuff for us, and sometimes this will happen and stuff. I wanted to give everybody insight on how we get ourselves ready for a broadcast. Usually I would have stopped us by about a half hour ago and everything and said, okay, Ted, we're going to start the broadcast, and I push the button and we get on air and we start talking and stuff about it. But I thought it'd be interesting to let folks see us when we are in our.
But there's so many things that's going on here that's national. We talk about local stuff, and we are very concerned about what's going on locally, and people are getting more engaged. But this national thing is just unbelievable, that is affecting all the people in this country and
in the world.
Yeah, right, in the world. Because, you look at Manafort, you look at the things that happened to Cohen confessing and saying he's guilty. You look at this congressman up in California that did some campaign, him and his wife. All this stuff, it puts a really bad light on so many things that what America's supposed to stand for: truth, justice. The American way, to me, has always been supposed to have been fair. Everyone was treated equally. But that's not the case, man, because, greed, what's that guy named Greco? You say, greed is good. No, greed is not good, bro. I'm sorry. Greed is not good, because greed brings selfishness, and it brings, when you are greedy, or you're trying to get things that's above your means, what happens is that you're going to hurt some people. For example, let me use this for an example. 45 just deregulated some stuff up in Kentucky. Rand Paul is so happy. I just heard that this is going to affect about 10,000 people a year that's going to die from this, because he deregulated the coal industry. So there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be without some fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, because these Rand Paul don't want to. I tweeted him too, by the way, because when he was bragging about it, and I told him, I said, man, why don't you get with the program and adapt? Because, see, there are other ways that you can use energy and different ways you can do it where it be safe for people and you could provide jobs. There are so many different scientific ways that you can do things now that can help people and then still create jobs. Now those jobs might not be paying $75,000 a year or whatever they pay these coal miners, but the bottom line is you won't have this lung disease and all of this stuff. And by the way, did you know that Trump cut the funding for the lung disease patients?
It's not
So
surprising, Ted.
so
Anything that's going on there, it's not surprising because
eh,
we have elected an immoral person to take over a position of power in this world.
yeah,
And the immorality of this person and stuff who have taken over is showing. And we all have to accept responsibility for this immoral man being elected to this position and stuff of power. He is about nobody but himself. He doesn't care about anybody else. And you talk about Rand Paul and stuff there in Kentucky. And I'm pretty sure that Trump probably did that because he wanted a favor from Rand Paul. Maybe to vote for his Kavanaugh to be the Supreme Court justice. So he traded off giving him this for the coal mine so he can vote for Kavanaugh to be the Supreme Court justice or whatever. That's how these folks and stuff deal and stuff in government, and that's how they have taken this country and stuff into the position and stuff to where the only thing they care about is themselves. Republican Party has always cared since Obama came in office. Have always cared about themselves. We don't care about the American people. All we care about is ourselves. How much money can we get? And you can see that by these representatives that you just talked about. Duncan Hunter, he got picked. He got caught taking money and stuff from his coffers because there's so much money in his campaign funds. So him and his wife decided, well, we need to take some of this money and put it in our pocket and go on vacation or buy us a pretty home and stuff out there to go. We ain't gonna get caught because everybody else is doing it. Well, they were wrong. That they got caught and they just got indicted and stuff and everything for a felony crime. Now, what's going to come of that, we don't know. But it happened.
Well, they'll probably get a slap on the wrist. Whereas
They probably will, and he will lose his seat there in Congress or something like that and everything.
I can guarantee you probably get some nice retirement.
But he's gonna fall on with one of them parachutes that just made out of gold.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing about it is that the people allow this, and I don't want to call a man a criminal because what he was is just greedy and he was going out for himself. Well, but I guess it's a criminal act.
He committed a crime.
It's a criminal act.
Are they gonna be able to prove he committed a criminal act? Because you know what happens, Ted? They have enough money to pay these good old lawyers and stuff and everything. When they find out that they can't get them off and win, they make a deal.
Yeah,
they're gonna make a deal. Just like they hoping that Paul Manafort and stuff makes a deal.
And he only gets
to turn into president.
3 years.
He probably gonna get less than that. He might just get, a slap on the wrist, or go into a minimum security prison where he can go out there and play golf and stuff every day, and for about 2 years and stuff. And his wife can come out there anytime she gets ready, and they can have conjugal visits and everything. And they bring him a nice meal so he can sit down and eat and everything. A real comfortable meal with no pressure on him at all because he gave up the president. Those things and stuff happen, Ted, and we know that's the name of the game because the lower you are on the totem pole, the worse people treat you. Because Ted, we've got, you talk about all those people, millions of black guys who are in prison and stuff now. Just consider
females
that there's probably maybe a third of them who are in prison or in jail and stuff, and they're in jail because they don't have the bond money to get out of jail.
Yeah. They don't have the bond money.
They don't have the bond money. So they got to stay in jail. They may be innocent.
They got program. And then the thing about it, they never been charged. A lot of them ain't been charged for anything.
Been charged.
And it's almost like where these people do not have a conscience. Where is their conscience? Where is their moral fortitude? I mean, it's just like, do you know you are ruining people's lives? Some of these people have children, they had jobs. This is like, I mean, they act like God does not exist, that God does not punish you for treating people uh, in an
Oh, Ted.
evil
Oh,
way.
Ted.
Because
Ted.
God
Ted.
will,
Ted.
God
Ted.
will put his wrath on these evil, wicked people. I'm telling
Ted.
you.
Ted. What about our ministers who sat down there at the table with
I know what you're gonna
with that
say. I know what you're gonna
immoral
say.
with that immoral person and stuff who's sitting up there on 1600 and Pennsylvania Avenue.
I know what you're gonna say.
They sat around the table
Lord
and
have
they
mercy.
supposed
Come
to have a congregation behind them, and they're coming there to supposedly to challenge the man to get some things for their congregation, and they're sitting at this table with him and praising him to be the best person in the world. I cannot believe this, Ted. I haven't got up. When my wife first told me about this, Ted, I'm serious, man. I could not talk about it. I could not see it because I
no,
had to,
he's the
I
best
had to,
president
I
for
had to
black people.
wrestle. Well, I'm saying, yeah, but I had to rationalize this stuff before I can go back and actually look at this stuff and everything, because they got a video of it and stuff on YouTube. Man, I'm still embarrassed. I'm still shamed. And I'm wondering how these men can stand before their congregation and tell them that they were sold out. They did some stepping, fetching, foot shuffling up there with that white man.
Well,
Oh my God, man, I was
I read.
embarrassed to hear it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
totally
yeah.
embarrassed.
It's like I don't. You know, I saw a documentary, and this is a white guy living in the South. I think it was Alabama, maybe Mississippi. Man was living in squatter, and he said, and the guy came to interview him. Told him, said, "Did you know you can get you some free health care with Obamacare?" I don't want nothing from him. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather starve to death.
Yep. You cut off
And
their
this was,
nose to spite their face.
yeah, yeah. I don't want nothing from him. I don't want nothing from him. He said, but you can get you some free health care. You can, the kind of money you make, you can probably pay, little of nothing for your health care to take care of your teeth, to take care of your body, and whatever. You can do this, you can do that. I don't want nothing.
Ted, I have a perfect analogy and stuff for what you just talked about here, what you just said about them. That man is down here in the South, right? In the deep South.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in the 1860s and stuff and everything, they had a civil war.
Yep.
Them fools lost the Civil War because they had the same mentality, and they still got it today in 2016 and 2017. They still got that same mentality that they're going to cut off their nose to spite their face. And when you do that, you're going to lose. They fought a war and stuff, Ted, and didn't have guns and stuff, and they just kept coming up the hill, and these Union soldiers just mowed them down just like cordwood, killing them. I mean, bodies was stacked up like all get out because they had that same mentality. I'm gonna cut off my nose to spite their face because we got to keep our niggers in order.
And that was their attitude.
That was their attitude. And they still got the same attitude that they will die to keep their niggers in order because Obama was a black person. And if a black person give them something, they don't want nothing from a black person because they are supposed to be owned by the white population, especially in the South. And you got thousands of enclaves and stuff, Ted, these people and stuff down here who think like that, who governors and stuff of these states and everything told them, we don't want Obamacare money, billions of dollars they could have taken and employed thousands of people and stuff, give them a good job. No, we don't want that money.
And it's their money for the most part.
It's crazy.
They did the same thing here in Florida when they was going to have that rail line.
Yeah. Biden come down there, figured that he was going to get these people. Well, Governor Scott, oh man, we're going to give you all $4 billion to help you guys build a high-speed rail from Jacksonville all the way down to Miami. We're going to help you guys pay for that stuff. We don't want your money. You a Yankee.
Mm-hmm.
What? Jobs, Ted. Y'all had money coming in you all state.
Yeah.
Jobs. People can be employed, making money, bring their wage up and everything. Everybody can have a job. And plus, you can have a train that comes down there that you can go from Jacksonville to Miami in about 2 hours.
Yeah, but they was talking about building one from Orlando as well to Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you can go to Disneyland, and then you can the same day you can shoot down to Busch Gardens,
right?
Or you can go to the beach.
Absolutely.
You know, so the bottom line is that.
And you talking about good paying job. You got to have an engineer to drive the train. You got to have people to maintain that. So you talking about a lot of money, man. That would have, along with that $4 billion, however much money that they were going to get. You talking about bringing in more money and stuff.
Because
more businesses.
You got to pay for the ride.
Yeah, and more tax money.
More tours is going to be coming in because now they don't have to rent a car.
Absolutely.
They can just go and ride the train, and if they want to go somewhere special, they can call a taxi cab or Uber or whoever they want to call and go where they want to go, get back on the train, go back to their hotel, or they can stay right there in Clearwater or St. Pete or Sarasota or wherever they want to stay. And so just because what you just said,
a black man was trying to give them some money.
So, I don't understand it. I mean, I guess it's deep, Ed. I don't know. Man. Because the color of a person's skin.
Racism is still alive and well.
Yeah. I mean,
this man you just talked about, you talking about a life and death. He doesn't have insurance. He can't go see a doctor to take care of his health. And he's willing to put his health in jeopardy and his life in jeopardy.
I'd rather die.
I'd rather die.
I'd rather starve to death.
They're going to continue.
I'm going to go out here and I'm going to shoot me up some rabbits and some possums, and I'll eat that.
Mm-hmm. And don't have no health care. Can't go see a doctor to get a shot or get my medicine.
As a child of God, as a Christian, as a person that believe and have faith in God, and you know that helping your fellow man is one of the most important things that you can do. And when the person is really putting that money together, and I'm talking about our president, 44, putting that money together, 44, 44, who was putting that money, when he was putting that money together and trying to help so many people, not only in healthcare, but in mass transportation, in jobs. I mean, we already know that the reason why the economy is back on its feet is because of 44. And it's a continuous thing.
And he did a whole lot of things for HBCU schools. He did a lot of things for financial aid for our children to go off to college. And nobody has given him credit for it, but it is there. And like you said, this
high school graduation was up
economy
to
is
almost
booming
90%
because of what he did. But
if you talk to some of these radical black folks, they would tell you President Obama
he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. But we have to understand, Ted, we have to understand, man, that we have those folks out there. So anyway, Ted, it is we in way past that hour. We've been on the air, and it was good talking to you, Mr. Harvey.
Well, I mean, we didn't talk about what we really want, what you really wanted to talk about.
Absolutely.
Maybe Saturday we can talk about that, and you can just vent. And
well, we're gonna have a lot to talk about Saturday, Ted. Just like every day, it seems like every day, man. That news cycle is just. I'm telling you, Ted. I've sat there and watched the television screen with my mouth open last night because I couldn't believe what the heck was going on. I couldn't believe it, and I believe what we thought last night the hammer had dropped. I believe that hammer is still up, and it's getting ready to come down real strong because just like you said, and like we've been talking about all this time, ever since that man got in office and stuff, God is going to take care of this evil stuff that's going on in this country. Eventually, he's going to take care of it. He's going to take care of it. And we just have to have faith no matter what. You got to
I agree. That's the main thing.
Got to have faith that the good things are going to happen. They're going to come out of it because it can't continue to go on like this because he knows how much.
Too much suffering going on, man. Too much suffering going on.
Absolutely. So anyway, I see Mr. Harvey's getting ready. He's shutting himself down. I'm going to shut the telecast and everything down. So we will see you all Saturday morning at 9 o'clock.
Looking forward to it, bro.
Right. Bye.
Hey baby, what you trying to do? Spent the night just trying to find you. You the hottest one under the sun, and I'm under your spell. We stuck just like glue. You ain't got the free crib, oh well. You and me can head to the hotel. Whatever we do, just don't tell. I don't need anybody all on my coattail. I feel your energy and I ain't trying to fight it. Your vibe is way too exciting. I know I'm who you wanna ride with. Don't fake it, I know that you like it.
It's more than just emotions. I give you more emotions. All you gotta do is focus, not the chills, but you like it. But you like it. Ooh, yeah. I've been out here looking for you. Just something special, man.
Get up on my roller coaster. Get us